How does the Pope fly? Have you ever wondered how the Pope travels around the world? No, he doesn't own a private jet like world leaders or celebrities. Instead, he flies in a specially chartered plane, codenamed Shepherd 1. With tight security, a full entourage, and diplomatic significance, every papal flight is an event of global interest. In this video, we'll uncover the secrets of how the Pope flies, the security behind his travels, and what happens when he lands. Stay tuned. You won't believe the details. The Pope, as the leader of the Catholic Church and the sovereign of Vatican City, is one of the most recognizable figures in the world. With his global influence and responsibilities, he frequently travels to different countries for diplomatic, religious, and humanitarian missions. But how does the Pope travel? More specifically, how does he fly? Unlike commercial air travelers or world leaders with private jets, the Pope has a unique mode of air travel, often referred to as Shepherd 1. This video explores the logistics, security, history, and significance of the Pope's air travel. The history of papal air travel. Before the advent of modern aviation, popes primarily traveled by train, carriages, or ships when leaving the Vatican. However, with advancements in air travel, the first pope to fly in an airplane was Pope Paul VI in 1964. Since then, air travel has become the primary mode of transportation for popes on international visits. The term, Shepherd 1, is commonly used about the aircraft carrying the Pope, similar to how the US President's plane is called Air Force One. However, the Pope does not own a dedicated aircraft like many world leaders. Instead, his flights are arranged through a partnership with Italy's national airline or other chartered services. What aircraft does the Pope use? Unlike heads of state who have official government-owned aircraft, the Pope does not own a personal jet. Instead, the Vatican charters a commercial airliner, usually from ITA Airways, formerly Alitalia, to transport the Pope and his entourage. The aircraft used is typically a large, long-range commercial jet such as Airbus A330 used for intercontinental flights, Boeing 777 sometimes chartered for long-haul missions, Airbus A320 used for shorter regional trips. The airline customizes the interior for the Pope's comfort, adding security enhancements and accommodations suitable for his status. The call sign, Shepherd 1, while in flight, the aircraft carrying the Pope is designated with the call sign, Shepherd 1. This is similar to how the US President's plane is designated Air Force One when he is on board. The term reflects the Pope's role as the shepherd of the Catholic Church. Who travels with the Pope? When the Pope travels, he is accompanied by a carefully selected entourage that includes cardinals and Vatican officials, high-ranking members of the Catholic Church, Swiss guards and security personnel, responsible for the Pope's protection, medical staff, a dedicated team in case of health emergencies, journalists, members of the Vatican press corps who document the trip, personal assistants, including secretaries and other aides to assist the Pope. Security measures during papal flight. Security is one of the top priorities when the Pope flies. Due to the high-profile nature of his position, extensive precautions are taken to ensure his safety. Some of these measures include 1. Pre-flight security checks. Before any flight, the aircraft undergoes rigorous security checks to prevent any threats. Security teams inspect baggage, passengers, and cargo to eliminate risks. 2. Military escorts. In many cases, fighter jets from the host country accompany the Pope's aircraft while in their airspace as a security measure. 3. Secure landing zones. Airports where the Pope lands are heavily secured, often involving collaboration between Vatican security, local law enforcement, and intelligence agencies. 4. Emergency contingency plans. In case of an emergency, detailed contingency plans are in place, including alternative airports for emergency landings and secure transportation options. The papal flight experience. Inside the aircraft, the Pope usually travels in a specially designated section that is modestly arranged, reflecting his preference for simplicity. Unlike luxurious private jets used by world leaders, the Pope's seating area is practical and functional. The flight experience includes custom seating, a comfortable yet simple seat for the Pope, Private resting area, a designated space for resting during long-haul flights. Onboard services, meals and medical support tailored to his needs. Interaction with journalists. The Pope often speaks with members of the media on the flight, answering questions about his trip and mission. The papal arrival. A grand ceremony when the Pope arrives at his destination. The event is often treated with the highest level of respect. His arrival usually includes a red carpet welcome. Many countries roll out the red carpet for the Pope. Meeting dignitaries, heads of state, religious leaders, and government officials greet him. Ceremonial processions. In many cases, he is escorted by an official motorcade to his next location. Massive public gatherings. Large crowds often gather at airports to catch a glimpse of the Pope. The role of papal flights in global diplomacy. The Pope's travels are not just religious visits. They also play a significant role in international diplomacy. His visits often promote peace and dialogue between nations, strengthen relationships between the Vatican and other religious communities, address humanitarian issues such as poverty, refugees, and climate change, support Catholic communities around the world. What happens to the papal plane after the trip? Unlike Air Force One, which remains dedicated to the U.S. president, the Pope's aircraft returns to commercial service after his trip. Once his mission is complete, the airline removes any special modifications and resumes normal passenger flights. Interesting facts about papal flights. The first Pope to fly. Pope Paul VI was the first Pope to travel by air in 1964. The most traveled Pope, Pope John Paul II, traveled over 725,000 miles during his papacy, visiting 129 countries. Longest papal flight. Some flights, such as those to Australia or Latin America, last over 14 hours. Papal souvenirs. The Pope often carries religious gifts or messages of goodwill for the countries he visits. The way the Pope flies is unique compared to other world leaders. Without owning a private jet, he relies on chartered commercial aircraft, usually with ITA Airways, and his flights are designated as Shepherd 1. These flights are highly organized, with extensive security measures and an entourage of Vatican officials, security personnel, and media representatives. Papal air travel plays a crucial role in spreading the Church's message, strengthening diplomatic ties, and addressing humanitarian issues worldwide. While the Pope's flights are practical rather than extravagant, they remain a fascinating part of his global mission. Every time the Pope takes to the skies, the world watches, knowing that his journey could bring about significant religious, political, and social impact. From high-security flights to diplomatic missions, the Pope's travels are unlike any other. Whether it's meeting world leaders, addressing humanitarian issues, or bringing hope to millions, every journey carries a powerful message. So, what do you think about the Pope's unique way of flying? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating insights. See you in the next video. L.